All right, thanks for staying with us. We want to start with a story we reported a couple of weeks ago about a shortage of cocoa beans affecting the operations of some cocoa processing companies. According to reports, grinders are temporarily shutting down processing plants until there is a resumption of regular supply of cocoa beans. Now, Bloomberg is today reporting Harmattan is partly to blame for the crisis Ghana's cocoa industry finds itself. Extreme weather, it says, has battered the crop. First, heavy rains from the fields, prompting the spread of disease and delaying harvest. Well, join us on Zoom to talk a bit more about this is Anthony Morrison, who is Chief Executive of the Chamber of Agribusiness. Good afternoon to you, Anthony. So I'm sure you have ears on the ground as well. How dire is the situation?
Well, thank you very much, Darryl, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. Yes, I think that our situation is more of something that we have cast upon ourselves. First, we started with this issue of the galamsey. We, the civil society organizations, complained so bitterly in the agriculture sector that there was a need for cocoa board to actually stand up to cocoa farmers and the owners of cocoa farms to begin to dialogue with them so they stop giving out their lands for galamsey. Cocoa board came to say they had no, they can't control farmers who are giving their lands. Fast forward, we are being told in 2023, last year, that cocoa farmlands in the country have lost well over 500,000 hectares to galamsey. We also do know that somewhere around 2018, Cocoa Board initiated a project that was to look at cutting down of diseased cocoa trees. At the time, the civil society organization and some leading research organization proved that there were alternatives. But we went ahead, bought a lot of timbers, chainsaws, gave contract to a lot of youth to cut down cocoa trees perceived to be diseased. Some of these cocoa trees that were cut were not replanted. So a lot of grafted seedlings, cocoa seedlings, haven't been replanted. So we have also lost some substantial amount of cocoa in that regard. Now, another issue has to do with the smuggling of cocoa beans to Ivory Coast and also Togo. So in effect, there are shortfalls in the supply chain. And of course, we also need to fulfill the cocoa syndicated loans for international supplies, which we are also struggling to fulfill. Then also the demand. If you ask the LBCs, you'll be told that Cocoa Board still owes them some amount of money in view of some of the tickets that they have supplied. So it's quite a major challenge for the cocoa sector. Not only the cocoa farmers, but not also the LBCs and the local cocoa producers. Now, the whole supply chain for us in the industry thinks that it's time we take a second look at the cocoa sector in the country, the decentralization of cocoa, the upward sales and all that. We need to look at it. Is this current regime of the country's cocoa enterprise still the best way to go? Do we still require the government to have a strong hold in the cocoa industry, or it is time we liberalize the cocoa sector and get a lot of private sector participation and making sure that the farmers actually are due to what they have put in their sweat for?
All right, and so the cocoa processing companies are tight-lipped about what is going on, maybe perhaps not to cause panic, but we know that production has been intermittent, and certainly that is not good for business. We have not heard from the regulator, Cocoa Board, yet. Talk to us about the challenges this poses for the companies. I mean, you are an agribusiness chamber, the companies that operate in the sector, as well as for the economy.
Yes, of course. Some of our members that operate in the food zone enclave will find it very difficult to fulfill some of their demands, some of which they have already been paid for. Those who are supplying the cocoa nibs, those who are supplying the cocoa powder, and those who are supplying the already final product, could be the chocolate or the final co-powder additives. So we are now looking at some of the stock taking. What are actually the emerging issues with the processes? What are the emerging issues that are also coming from the side of the farmers? Issues with logistics, transportation, warehousing. There are quite a gap there. Then also with government not being able to fulfill some of this work that requires to be done. So in short, the effect on the country quite high. Okay, and we will also not be able to fulfill some of our international trade partners with regards to purchases of already processed cocoa and the other value additions that we normally export to other countries like Japan, Korea, and UK and Europe, and some part of US as well.
All right, and so besides the weather, we've had issues, like you pointed out, with cocoa production recently, the threats posed by galamsey and the dwindling interest from farmers because it's no longer lucrative. As we talk about this shortage, I mean, these factors had this situation we are in right now coming, right?
Yeah, and it also has to do with the whole regime of cocoa regulatory system that we have in the country. There are a lot of people who are also interested to invest cocoa, but for some reason, because of government strong interference in the cocoa sector, they are also not incentivized well enough to investing or putting their private sector investment in the cocoa sector. The rubber sector lately have revamped. We've seen a lot of people also looking at other alternatives like palm, like cashew. Coconut now is also one of the leaderboards, and we've also seen quite recently the gold fruit, which is mango, taking a very strong role in the area of the dry or the dry mangoes and the fresh mango cuts. So you have seen investment already from the big mango and the banana sector as well. So the cocoa sector is gradually facing some other strong challenges. We have seen on our investment dashboard recent investment into the banana sector. We have seen a lot of investment also going to the cashew sector, which has also a very low agro-processing sector in the country because a lot of them is exported to India. We process less than 10% of our cashew in this country. Meanwhile, we do well over 600,000 metric tons. So there is quite a challenge for the whole facet of the industry.
Okay.
But zero in on cocoa because it is our major cash crop. There is still a long way to go. We need to look at the act. We need to look at the legislative instruments and how we can modernize it to involve a lot of participation.
All right. Finally, I mean, the weather is something we don't have control over. So when it comes to how the weather has contributed to this, there's really not much we can do. But I mean, we don't know how long this is going to persist. But what lessons can we learn from what is going on to prevent future shortages?
Well, of course, climate change has come to stay. People can put in their own understanding and issues with regards to the whole theory of climate change, the issues of the amount of carbon dioxide in the system, and also all the other emissions that are being put together. And that is the reason why a lot of people have problems with the government tax on emission. So we need to look at it. Quite frankly, I think that we need a lot of homegrown solutions for the issues of climate change. We need to look at what quantity of agrochemicals we need in the country. And we do know that Europe, for instance, have instituted a new law banning some foods of forest origin from some countries in Africa. What is our position on that? Do we also need to begin to look at what kind of ban we can put in place for some of the agrochemicals that we are importing from Europe, some of the agrochemicals we are importing, most especially the substandard ones that we are bringing from Asia? Okay, so these are some of the things we begin to our regulatory agencies, EPA, PPRSD, Standards Authority, Food and Drug have to be very strong in this. It is estimated that we have well over 70% of substandard agrochemicals in the industry. And all these are constituted to climate change and issues that are permeating the industry now. We are now talking about seeds that are drought resistant as a result of the climate change. We are talking about seeds that are disease tolerant and all that, and high yielding seeds. All these things are multifaceted issues that are happening in the industry. But I think that a strategic kind of work partnerships to work together to address some of these issues are the way to go. And the government must also play this. Yeah, it's very important.
Okay, I appreciate your time with us, Anthony Morrison, Chief Executive of the Ghana Agribusiness Chamber. Thank you.